Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be going through and doing a vlog with you guys. I've got some workouts planned, I got a bunch of cooking I've got to do so you can see a full day of eating and what I'm currently having or fitting in on my poverty 1250 calories, as I am now only 14 days away from my competition. I'm also going to be remeasuring my glutes, which is really exciting. So I'm really eager to see how the last 9 weeks following my Hyper-Focused Glute Program, the program that you can see just here on the screen, if it's actually been effective at growing glutes, especially in a calorically restricted state. So hopefully you enjoy today's video, and I guess we should just jump in. You're speedy today. 23-minute mile.
23 mile per hour. Now she's got wheels.
We just got back. I'm making myself an iced coffee because it is too hot for a warm one right now. So, cool. So there's probably about 220 mils of milk in here. This is skim milk. And then I love sweet things. So I have this caramel, and it's not even the sugar-free variety, but I just have a little splash. So for 30 mils, this has 19 grams of sugar, which is quite a lot. So I'm actually going to use, instead, I've got to try and find it, this monk fruit Splenda. So this is a little bit more gentle on your GI. For anybody that struggles with IBS, I found this to be more tolerable, and it is considered a low FODMAP. So yeah, I'm just going to put some of this in here, and I might froth it up with my frother, which is missing. I have no idea what the macros are on this yet. I will plug it into my phone here in a second, but I'm not going to be eating all of this. I do not have the carbs for 3 slices of brioche, but I'll probably have the top smaller piece. I think that will fit. I'm guessing that 1 slice and a little bit of the ice cream and Biscoff will probably come in around 20 grams of carbs. But I'm also about to make another protein, like rich breakfast. Hey, what's up, Kay? You're always so curious about what everybody's eating. So I'm gonna do like scrambled egg whites, and probably some like fat-free cheese and a bunch of other things. So, but first I just want to try this. That is so good. I'm so jealous right now that you get to eat this, Sam. Wow, 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 wow. It's so fluffy. That brioche bread just sucked up all of that egg. I used egg white and regular egg, so it's a little bit lower in fat than a normal French toast. That is amazing. Look at that. You can even see like the egg in the center of the brioche. So good.
Hey,
oh, buddy. You're so curious. No. Okay, so I just did the macros for the brioche toast that I just made, and I had the top layer and a good bit of the ice cream and the Biscoff, and the macros came out at like 8 grams of protein, 10 grams of fat, and 30 grams of carbohydrates. So that's not so bad, but I still needed some protein. Oh, okay, he's so excited about the eggs. So I've just put together an egg white and fat-free cheese burrito, which I'm using with really high fiber wraps. So this is just like a little pocket, but I mean, this looks really good. I use the Kraft fat-free cheddar cheese. You could also use the fat-free mozzarella. I didn't have any other protein sources like available to me that I wanted to actually, unless I wanted to defrost something. So I wouldn't usually put like maybe fat-free, or sorry, the 96% fat-free beef in these and some extra veggies. But to save me time today, I'm not gonna worry about that. But let's taste this. Okay. He's like, dang it. Oh, that's really good. These have like 13 grams of carbohydrate in the wrap, but it's like 10 grams of fiber. So if you're looking for a quick and easy way to up your dietary fiber, this is certainly one way that you can do that. This is good. Finally got some food in, and we are heading up to USF for two things. First off, I'm so excited. We're going to measure my glutes. So it's been 10 weeks, I think. I'll have to check the exact date. I think it's about 10 weeks since I started this Hyper-Focused Glute Program. So if you recall, I'd previously been doing about 30 sets a week on glutes, and that was split evenly between glute max and glute medius. And after kind of getting the feedback from the judges at my last show, both two shows actually, Pittsburgh and the Optimum Classic out in Louisiana, it's glute medius, Holly, glute medius. We can't see it when you're posing. So I have increased my glute medius volume to about, I think 30 sets probably on its own. And then in total, glutes combined max and medius, I'd say it's probably high 40s. I'd have to go back and have a look at my program. It's been so long since I've looked at it exactly. But yeah, if there was growth to be gained, it was going to happen on this program. So I'm a little bit nervous because I could not have gained anything. I truly have no idea. As many of you have kind of pointed out or asked about, how do you expect to grow muscle when you're remaining a very lean body composition? And I've said, I don't know. We don't have good data to support what we're doing in terms of the volume, and we don't have good data to support growth in extra lean individuals who are calorically restricted. So I can assume that it is probably compromised, but today will be the day. So yesterday, I mentioned earlier, I wanted to take the day off training just to make sure that I don't have any inflammation in my glutes. So we did do a walk this morning, which is normally not recommended if you were going in and getting your quads, for instance, measured. But since it's my glute, I don't think that would be too much of an issue. So it was a very gentle, very easy walk. So yeah, we'll get a workout in. We've actually got a new piece of equipment in at the lab as well. 2 or 3 days ago, Sam had a glute, I guess a 3D gluteator type item that's brought in. Sam, what's the brand of this particular product? Do you call
GMWD, I think it's called. I kept getting ads for it on Instagram.
GMWD?
I think it's GMWD or GWMD. One of those two.
We need to go into equipment manufacturing. We pick apart and just try to optimize all of the machines to make them better fit. But yeah, he spent a couple of hours one of the days earlier this week at school putting this together out of the box.
Yeah.
So I can't wait to hop on and try it. It has a seatbelt too. So one of the things that I found to be troublesome for the 3D gluteator machine, which is again a hyper-focused glute medius movement, is that because I've got such a lordosis that it does load my spine quite a bit. If I haven't got anything kind of really keeping me in the seat, otherwise my pelvis ends up just kind of tipping forwards in response to the load. So this one's got a seat belt, but I probably will also add the band as well, just for extra support. I just find it so much more comfortable, but maybe I don't need it. So we've got a workout coming up today. This is one of the programs from my Hyper-Focused Glute workout, which you guys can access if you want it. We've got most of my programs up on the website now. Obviously, we're in the process of rebuilding the app again. But in the interim, you can download the programs for $12.99. I mean, they're a steal. And you can also buy the bundles too of the programs series. So if you wanted to get the entire Miss Olympia series, you can get them all wrapped into one for a discounted price. And they've got all the video demonstrations, so you can still track volume. So to me, that's the most critical thing. So yeah, when we get there, we'll get the ultrasound set up and get going. Alrighty, folks, we made it. So Sam has just marked up my glutes, and these are the sites that we'll probably use for the upcoming reliability study. Do you want to maybe chat about why we were doing that in the first place?
Yeah, we're doing a reliability study to make sure that we can reliably capture these images that we want to measure growth on.
And how many people do you think we'll need to include in this sample size?
I don't know, probably 30 or 40 people would be awesome.
Okay.
Yeah. So basically, all I want are people to come in. We're going to measure their glute med, glute max, and then we'll have them come back 8 weeks later, and we'll measure it again. To understand if you can measure something, you just have to show that if it doesn't change, or it shouldn't change, that it hasn't changed. Meaning, we want people that aren't training their glutes, aren't going to start training their glutes, and are happy just to come in and have measurements taken twice.
So if you're in Tampa and you want to be in this study, please reach out to me.
And basically, we piloted around and we found some measurement points that work for Holly's proportions, where we can measure her glute med here, and then her glute max here. And these are hard muscles to measure. And, you know, we want to be able to measure muscle growth on them with ultrasound because, and for example, Brett Contreras and some other people just funded a study. I think Menno, is it Menno?
Yeah, Menno and Brett.
And it's just really expensive if you want to get MRI machines to measure these muscles, which isn't feasible if we want to get a lot of publications on a muscle group. We need a way to measure it that doesn't require multi-million-dollar machines. So right now I'm just measuring Holly's glute med, and in our piloting we're trying different probes, we're trying different sites, we're seeing where we can get the best image.
So do you want to talk about the two different probes here and why we use those in research?
They're just, these are actually, I think even the same Hertz probe, they're just slightly different in size. One gets a little bit more muscle in the image. I've always preferred this probe because it fits my hand really nice, and I can hold the probe without touching anything. The other one's a little bit wider, so I lose a little bit of my stability. So this is just the probe I've used in most of my studies. And we're taking images here, here, and here. We're doing one in the middle of the glute. We're doing 4 centimeters down and 4 centimeters up. And maybe Holly can pop some of those images on the screen right here. I don't think that'll work. So y'all can see what it looks like. And yeah, we're gonna determine how good we are at this. And we're also gonna see if, you know, based on not knowing my reliability, if it could still detect growth in Holly's glutes over the past however many weeks it's been.
Yeah, close to 10. Well, we have just pulled up some of the data. This is the bottom measurement of my glute medius, and it's pulling up right now at 3.42 centimeters, which, if I recall my data from last time, it was about 2.7 or so. Now, I have to go back and look at it, but that would be a meaningful improvement. I think tomorrow we're going to go back and do some more blinded, I guess, data entry, or at least pull the previous data and do the comparisons because there's so many different sites. But looking at the top measurement here, that's 275. Again, I can't recall exactly, but I know that one of them was at least 272. So we're already seeing a few millimeter.
So it's around 2.9, 2.94.
Yeah, very cool. Woo-hoo.
So yeah, we'll find out more tomorrow. But
yeah, well, you won't. I will.
There's hope for growth, it looks like.
Yeah, I'm excited.
What happened?
This is good. All right, guys, the moment of truth. So this is the new machine I was telling you about. For the glute medius, let's pull it in, get it locked in. All right, so I think the first thing that I like about this is it's relatively close together. Some of them I have had like my knees out in this position, so you're already in like a partial range of motion before you even start. So ideally you would want your knees touching to maximize the amount of lengthening that you're gonna get there. But I mean, this is a pretty small gap. So I might throw the little blocks in here for some extra range of motion, but let's clip in. Ooh, feels so special having a seat belt. Oh gosh, I like it. Now does the seat, that stays in a fixed position on this one? It's in a good spot though. Okay, yeah, let's try it with the pads. Yeah, so see how they just sit nicely? I'm gonna punch them all the way down. You could probably even secure something around here as well, just so that they're permanently fixed. I don't know whether, do you use these for anything else? Because I would do that just so that, you know, oh, okay. We just need to get ourselves another set. Oh yeah, this is so good. This makes the world of difference. Retails for $800 or $900, but the uni got it on a massive sale. I think Sam's been stalking equipment for a while now. So if you have a home gym, like this isn't a really big space. Well, yeah, this is a relatively small footprint. Yeah, I really like this. So this will be obviously one of the main exercises that we use in our upcoming study. So I've talked about it several times. This is going to be the one where we're measuring glutes and shoulders, and we'll be doing it in lean, like athletic individuals. So we don't have a whole lot of data on lean folk. And then in different states of energy balance. So deficit, maintenance, and a small surplus, just to see, like, are there meaningful differences in growth when you are starting to get down into those, you know, lower body fat percentages. So yeah, I love it. Whoa. All right, up next, I have a single leg hip abduction. Now, the exercise on the program is actually the standing machine. Now, we obviously don't have access to that here today. So we're gonna head over to the cables and do an alternative that again still targets the glute medius. So today's workout, I think I have somewhere between 6 and 9 working sets on the glute medius. And we've also got about 6 to 9 sets that are gonna hit the glute max, but probably also a little bit of quad too. So let's head over here. Anyway, this is the attachment that I'm gonna put around my foot here. So the reason that I like this one is it's because it has this support at the bottom, so it keeps it fixed in one place. It doesn't slide up and down your shin when you're going through the exercise, which I found to be annoying on previous movements. Coming down into a bent over athletic stance, we're gonna be kicking out to the 45 on this one, again for glute medius. So coming across like this. And there are other ways that you can do this one too. I've seen a lot of the ladies, though I won't do it today because I'm hooked up to the wrong one, but you could probably come over in this position. So imagine I've got like a fixed item over here. You can kind of come back across behind you so that your foot's coming out on the angle. And again, I can feel quite a bit of tension there in the medius, but I don't like this for this particular piece of equipment because I don't have anything I can hold on to. You need some stability here, so I prefer it this way. All right, so that's nice and light. I'm keeping the rep ranges semi-high for this movement, around 20. I find that if I go heavy and keep it within a more traditional rep range of like 12 to 15, I do start to feel it in my back, so I'm no longer really isolating my glute, and I want to isolate my glute. I don't want anything else like really active in this movement. I don't want to develop any more like core musculature, and I don't want to develop my erectors either by loading my back. It's just a bikini thing. So isolation movements where I can. Sorry, during my rest period, what an opportune time to talk about rest periods. So when it comes to hypertrophy, so just strictly muscle growth, there isn't really a specific time that you absolutely have to rest for. There are some caveats. I would say probably about 30 seconds would be the shortest amount of time that you could really rest for before you come back into your next set. And the reason that I say that is you want to make sure that you can kind of maintain a rep range that is in that hypertrophy rep range, so like 8 and above. If you rest for too short a time frames, it's likely that you would end up just compromising your rep number. And then now that set is technically more closely aligned as a strength set, which is not inherently harmful, it's just they have different outcomes. But if you, like me, want to sit here and rest for 3 minutes for an isolated exercise, that's totally fine. There's no disadvantage to doing that. It's just going to take you a little bit longer. So keep in mind a lot of the fancy techniques that we see in gyms capitalize on short rest. For example, blood flow restriction or rest pause methods, or even drop sets to a certain extent. They are using shortened rest periods to, I guess, take advantage of that metabolic environment in the muscle to help you fatigue all of the motor units and effectively signal muscle growth. So those shorter rest periods are just going to allow you to go back into your next set feeling a bit more fatigued. So you probably won't be able to lift as much weight, which is, again, where if you care about strength, that would be problematic. And it's one of the reasons why we recommend for strength-based sets that you take your time, rest for 3+ minutes if you're really trying to see how much weight you can lift. Okay, moving on to, is this our third exercise? Yeah. Over here in the app, it would have been a Smith machine front foot elevated reverse lunge. The gym has a barbell, it has dumbbells. I don't want to use any of those today. I'm so tired. So I'm going to sub it out for the Cybex leg press behind me. So I'm going to do a single leg. Because it's a front foot elevated, the whole intention behind doing that was to increase the range of motion and to help bring in a little bit more glute max. So when I get myself set up in the Cybex, I'm just going to put my foot up into the side a little bit more to lengthen that glute muscle. So we're doing 4 sets today. It's the last week of the program. It's like the killer week, the biggest week. It's the push week. So yeah, this is one of the focus movements in this program. So let's go do it. This is actually a really heavy weight plate. This is 100 pounds. If you're wondering why I've got it unevenly loaded, or at least it appears to be so. First off, most of these machines load evenly. So you can have a plate, mismatch, and it's probably not going to do a whole lot. It might put a little bit of wear and tear on the machine over the years if you were to always do it and lift a lot of weight. But I am not concerned so much about putting one plate on here today with just 100 pounds. But yeah, I guess this is very challenging. For a warm-up, because I am kind of introducing a new muscle group, first time using my quads today, I would recommend doing maybe 1 or 2 warm-up sets. Generally, for two sets for warm-up, I'd say 75% of your known working weight for about 5 reps. And then for your second warm-up set, I usually just hit it 3 times at about 90% of my working weight. So this is my working weight now. So I've done my warm-ups and we are hitting 12 today. That's what was prescribed for the Smith machine lunge. So if the machines are too heavy for you guys as well, sometimes it's too much to take your limb all the way and come all the way down. So you could also do a staggered stance here if you wanted to, kind of give yourself a little bit of support on the way down. But I actually got this one. I was ready to do a staggered stance myself, but we got it there. Okay, here we go. Okay guys, next exercise is a glute kickback. So we have state-of-the-art equipment. This is actually a one-of-a-kind. I don't think that any other facility has this specific piece. And that is because it's probably from the 80s, but it is so freaking good. Sam actually drove like an hour and a half just to get this piece. Yeah, it's a really good glute max exercise. Now, one thing I do want to say, and this goes for any glute kickback machine that you're doing or using, it could be whether it's a cable or a machine. If you start to feel it a little bit more in your quads, and this was not the intention, I certainly don't program kickbacks for my quads, I would recommend changing the range of motion. So when you bring your, just demonstrate this way, when you bring your leg all the way in, sometimes that load starts to pop here. So what you could do instead is just do a partial range of motion. So you go all the way into full flexion. So you can see here my glute is in the flex position, it's shortened. And then you're just gonna come halfway back in. That'll keep the load isolated to the glute instead of moving or transferring that load into the quad. That being said, you're usually a little stronger in that shortened position. So you might need to increase the weight. That's all I'll say. But one thing that I'm doing here is putting a little stop for my feet. We got 2 of those. They just kind of sit in here as little wedges. I have seen others use athletic trap blocks for this. Again, if you've got access to your home facility or you've got a very flexible gym, they might let you do these types of things. But yeah, I really like this machine, so let's do it. We are moving on to some of the upper body exercises. So I don't think I'm completely done on my lower yet, but giving the glutes and the quads a little bit of a rest for a second. I've got a wide grip pull down. As you guys know, back is not a muscle group I'm trying to grow. I have 6 sets per week, that's it. So this is one of the 6 sets. And the other exercise I think in this program might be like a pulling close grip movement. So yeah, I'm not even going close to failure in this. I think my RPE's been like a consistent 7. So these are really just for exercise diversity and to keep the programs enjoyable, because ultimately when you train so hyper-focused, it does get a little bit cumbersome after a time. So good to mix it up. Okay, next exercise, rear delts. So I'm going to try and keep this mostly shoulder focused today. So this is an older cable machine, and it's only 1 cable stack. So the downside about using this machine for a rear delt is that there's going to be a slight imbalance and instability when I'm pulling out. So unfortunately, if I was much stronger on one side, this would not be a great machine to do this on, but it does add some extra difficulty. And for that reason, I'm probably not going to be able to lift the same kind of weight that I would if I was using, say, a fixed machine where that load is distributed evenly across both of the arms. So one of the other things that I would recommend doing if you are setting this up with any cable is have one slightly higher, so stagger the position of the arms. So that way when you're kind of in that extended position, one hand is coming across over the top and the other one is underneath, if that makes sense. So I'm going to try or at least attempt to do that here with this machine and crush the backs of my shoulders. All right. As I get licked on the leg by my dog. No, she's on you. Last, well, actually, no, this is not the last exercise. We still have one more, but moving on to chest. So again, this is another non-focused muscle group. So I'm doing 6 sets a week. I love bench pressing and I never thought I could ever give it up. But one of the things that I may do in my next program, I've actually got to write it this weekend, is probably more strength related programming for the muscle groups that I don't necessarily need to grow for the rest of my prep season. Just from the perspective that I don't want to give up the exercise. I like the variety, and if I train strength, it shouldn't contribute too significantly to muscle growth if I keep those reps low. So in the next program, I'll probably program somewhere between 1 and 6. This one is still a hypertrophy focused rep range, so I've got a pyramid of 12, 10, 8. So I'll keep the RPEs low, and that's about it. All right, let's do it. We must be getting close, guys. So now hitting the medial part of our shoulder, we're going to be doing a lateral raise. Again, if you are a home gym owner, then this is a really cool attachment by Revolt. I guess the perks are, no matter how tall you are, how short you are, or your arm length, you can basically adjust this machine or this attachment to suit your, okay there. We've nearly lost the man behind the camera. Oh my goodness, you okay? Oh, sorry. Yeah, you can move it up and down to suit your height, and then these can be fixed in place or they can be kind of free to move around. So I normally struggle with this machine if I'm in a gym and it's in a fixed plane of motion. So I really like this. So let's hit these shoulders. we are at the end of the program. So I'm finishing off with one final glute abduction exercise for the medius. We're going to use my bands. So these are actually on their last legs. I probably had this band now for maybe 4 months, and they do lose their stretch. I use this a lot. So if you are somebody that has your band and you've been kicking this thing for over a year, I'm afraid if you use it regularly, it's not going to be giving you the same kind of resistance that it used to. So if that's the case, you should be doing significantly more reps. So if you're starting to have to do like sets of 50 and 60, which is what I'm having to do today, it's time for a new band. So you want to make your sessions efficient. There's nothing inherently wrong with that. I just want to say you can do all the way up to say 90 repetitions or working at 20% of your 1 rep max and still signal muscle growth. It's just a very inefficient way to train. So if you need bands, click the links in the description for my video. We actually sell these, and I have the what's the other band? The heavy band, which works really well for all of your, what's the word that I'm looking for? I feel like I've just totally, my brain ran away, guys. It's that kind of time of the day. Cameraman, you know what I'm trying to say? You can read my thoughts, can't you? The other band, this is good for abductions, hip extension, oh my gosh. Guys, clearly I need some sleep and some food. For glute bridges, hip extension exercises. So this one's great for any abduction, like your clams, your monster walks, obviously all of these seated abduction, lying supine abduction exercises. So the other one's a lot tighter for hip extension. I'm using the booty builder, or I guess hip thrust. What do we call this? I don't even know. Anyway. So I actually really like setting my feet up inside this little frame. It gives you some guidance on how far your range of motion is. And normally my feet start to slide. So this kind of keeps you in a nice fixed position. And you can almost kind of put a little bit of pressure on the outside of your foot as you roll out. So I think I'm getting to about 50 reps in this. So I'll just keep going until I can't do any more. I want to get close to failure here. So it's after 7 p.m. It's been a long day. I've got to go to the groceries and get some food for the week so I can do some meal prep. I have a couple of things in mind. I think I'd like to do like a sesame dish. I know there's a cauliflower fried rice that I haven't done in a long time, and I think I'll include maybe some chicken and some bacon to bring the protein content up. Obviously, fried rice is usually not very protein rich, and I don't know, I guess I'll just see what takes my fancy, but we haven't gotten permission to film in the grocery store, so I don't think I'm going to bring you guys along, but when I get home I'll show you like what I ordered, and we'll take a look. So let's do it. Okay guys, sorry. I'll be honest with you, a few hours had passed after we went to the grocery store. I was so exhausted and I had so much cooking to do. I had so many new client plans I still had to put together and just prepare for the upcoming week ahead. And my weeks have been really crazy lately. So I did not get to film the rest of the afternoon, but I did get a bunch of cooking done, and I want to show you what some of those recipes were. I have 2 that I'm going to share with you right now. So let me grab those. One of them is sweet and sour chicken. So this is something that I actually remember having like as a child. I remember my mum used to make this, and I saw it, I'm like, oh, it's been so long. I definitely want to see if I can make a lower calorie version of this. And then I also made something called Kung Pao ground turkey. So I haven't used this particular product in goodness, maybe ever, at least not here in the US. And it was just a bit of a last minute throw it together, see how this tastes. And I freaking loved it. So you'll have seen all of the groceries that I grabbed, but I'm gonna pick up the camera now, show you these recipes. And if you'd like to get a proper like PDF download version of it, all you need to do is head down to the description. You'll see some links, and you'll be able to go straight over to my website where you can get a copy of everything that I have made today if you would like some of these recipes for your own fat loss journey. All right, let's take a look. So this is the Kung Pao ground turkey. So probably doesn't look very exciting, but I can tell you the flavor of this, it is really good. So it's literally just extra lean, 99% fat-free ground turkey. The Kung Pao sauce, which I pulled up and showed in the grocery overhaul just earlier. And then I think I've got yellow squash and zucchini here as my veggies, but you could literally throw anything into this dish, and I might also have green onion. I can't quite tell, but I'm pretty sure that's what I put in here. So the macros for a single serve, and this recipe made, I think, 8, with 30 grams of protein, 1 gram of fat, and 6.8 grams of carbohydrates. So you can obviously serve this with like shirataki noodles. You could use this with rice. I mean, it depends on what your macros are, but because I'm on such low calories right now, I'm opting for like the lower calorie version of all of my normal favorites. And then this is the sweet and sour chicken, which it just looks so colorful and delicious, and I can tell you it really was. Sorry, I made one version up, which is actually this one here, and I did not check what the macros would be as I made it. And then when I plugged it all in, I was like, oh no, a single serve of this particular one here was like 50 grams of carbohydrate without even adding in any rice or accompaniments. It's just because the sauce is so sweet. And you can see there's some beautiful little chunks of pineapple in here, lots of veggies, and then there's flour to coat the chicken. So I was like, oh goodness, I really can't afford to waste that many macros on something at the moment without an accompaniment. So I made it again with a little bit more focus, and it came out much nicer. So the macros for this exact portion size here are 29 grams of protein, 1 gram of fat, and then 30 grams of carbohydrate. That's obviously without any accompaniments. So the difference was I just reduced the quantity of sauce. I used a little bit less flour to coat the chicken before I then like lightly grilled it. And then I added in some more veggies to kind of make it go a little further and more volume. So you can see here, these weigh similar, I suppose, but look how much more is in this because of the veggies. So this is heavier with sauce. This is heavier with veggies. So very delicious. I'm going to see if I can grab the sauce jars for you right now so you can see what they were. So this is the Kung Pao sauce brand. So this has no fat. It's 5 grams of carbohydrate and 1 gram of protein. So this is obviously much lower in calorie. It does have quite a few ingredients on the side, including garlic. So, I mean, this does slightly upset my stomach, I'm going to tell you now. As somebody with IBS, I'm always so upset because I love the taste of it, but my gut, it hates me. So, again, I used quite a little amount of this, and it went a long way. You can see I haven't even used a half of this bottle, and that made like 4 or 5 servings. So, you don't need a whole lot. And then this is the sweet and sour brand that I use. So it does have 33 grams of carbohydrate for a 1/4 cup measurement, which is 77 ml. But this was so delicious, and it literally tastes like the sweet and sour that you would get if you went to like an Asian or a Chinese restaurant. So you simply dice up all of your chicken, coat it in a little bit of flour, lightly spray your pan in a non-stick fry pan. It gives like the chicken a little coating, and then you just kind of throw your veggies in. So you can get pretty creative with what you use, but that was so good. Now I was looking back on Sunday's macros, and I think by the time I had finished recording, I had about 470 calories left. So what I did have, because I was starving at the grocery store, I'll show you what I ate. I had a little serving of this popcorn, which I think was probably shown or featured in the groceries when I put it all out on the bench. So I had a serving of this, which was 7 grams of fat, 15 grams of carbohydrate, and 3 grams of protein, 2 grams of fiber. So that was my little drive home, not pass out, needs a snack, little treat. And then I got to work cooking, and then I believe I had something else that I had prepped, which was like a satay chicken. So I didn't end up eating either of these, but I can tell you that this was so freaking good, and I mean the macros are excellent. So yeah, I'd highly recommend going and checking out those recipes. I guess I am now down to just a few days away from making my final decision. So I've just gone and registered, but that doesn't mean I'm still going to compete. I think Sunday will be the day that I finally make my final decision. I do not want to get on stage without feeling like I'm looking my best and kind of ready to go. So Oh my goodness, I can't wait. I'm kind of quietly confident that I will make a lot of progress in the next couple of days, so wish me luck. I am going to be doing a vlog again all of next week, going through my, I guess, peak week meals, how I go about doing that. We've got photo shoots set up all throughout the week, and then, yeah, I guess I bring my team along to support at the actual show, and we'll film all of that for you guys. So, yeah, I can't wait to share that with you. But if you've got questions about your own fat loss endeavors, if you've got any questions about today's video, please drop me a comment below. If you're not subscribed to my channel, please subscribe to my channel. I can't believe how many people just kind of pop back in and like watch videos and then are not subscribers. So that way, if you select that little notification bell, you will not miss any of my content, whether it's educational, nutrition, training, or vlogs. But that's all from me. I hope you guys are having an amazing week and that you're training hard, and I will see you in my next video.